there's an election happening, and Kamala Harris is going to smash Trump, and it definitely is going to happen. Please go vote, especially if you vote. If you vote, Donald Trump goes to prison. Just at the top of this video, I'd like to say, if you go vote, Donald Trump likely ends up in prison. Okay, Joe Biden's not in charge. I thought Joe Biden might fucking pardon this guy. I don't think Kamala's going to pardon this guy. Okay, yeah, so. Because he's gonna continue to go through those trials that he continues to lose. Okay, he's running right now to stay out of prison. Okay, so anyway, this is Donald Trump speaking before the NABJ convention in Chicago. These ladies right here are going to interview Donald Trump, who, by the way, shows up to this event like a half an hour late or some shit. Because he was mad that they were going to fact check him during, and so he's throwing a tantrum backstage for like a half an hour while everyone's waiting. Anyway, this is this video.
Good afternoon, NABJ, and welcome to a conversation with former President Donald Trump. This discussion continues a decades-long tradition during election years of inviting journalists to discuss the policies and their impact with the candidates who are running for president, and the impact of those policies, especially in black communities. Former Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton have attended the NABJ conventions either as presidents or as presidential candidates in past years. NABJ is currently in conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris's team to schedule a Q&A either in person or virtually in September. As journalists, we use
Dude, that's going to be good. I'm going to watch that too.
Opportunities like these, both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact-check this conversation in real time.
Hilarious.
You can access that feed on social media using the hashtag NABJFactCheck. Again, the hashtag is NABJFactCheck. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time, so let's bring out the former President of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
This is the music he picked? What the fuck? Go.
Mr. Trump, thank you.
Some lo-fi?
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals.
I was looking for the PolitiFact thing, and I don't know if this is in real time. Pants on fire, half true. He he gets fucking owned on this. So PolitiFact obviously, you know, doesn't think he does well in this. If you haven't seen this yet, it's pretty wild.
From Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true.
Yep, it is the first thing.
You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you,
get them.
Why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
I like her.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even.
They're
say,
laughing at him.
How are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network.
Oh my fucking god, dude! What a loser, dude!
That I came here in good.
Dude, his tie is way too long, and he looks bad. But also, what a bitch! What a sensitive little bitch! Oh my god.
Spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment.
There's like 3 people in the audience trying to be loud for him.
Including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina.
Doofus. Tim Scott is a big doofus. Everyone knows he's a doofus.
which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs.
The way he says like black, like it hurts his mouth to say. What a weird guy. He says it weird. There's stank on it. Why is he so strange?
I've done so much, and and I say this.
Like he's uncomfortable.
Historically, black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them.
One
and
guy
I gave
clapping.
them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or...
What a whiny... Like, how do you think this projects strength? Like, aren't you supposed to, like, hold frame or whatever and, like, man up? What are you doing, man? Like, does this look good? Like, do right-wingers go, yeah, I'm offended? Like, I thought we were, like, blue-haired screaming SJWs or something. Like, what is this?
Kamala. I was told my opponent was going to be here.
Her name is pronounced Kamala.
It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense, and then you said you can't do it.
Dude, she's gonna correct him on the debate stage.
Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something.
He's making excuses on their behalf, saying their equipment wasn't working, when it was widely reported, everyone knew that it was because he was bitching about it being fact-checked by PolitiFact live. But you don't want to debate, so why would you show up to an event where she would be there? Yeah, who knows? He says he's going now, I think, maybe?
President, I would love if you can answer the question on your rhetoric and why you
I have
believe that
answered the
black voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here.
When you couldn't get your fucking... That wasn't their fault.
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is.
I think I suffer from whiteness.
Best since Abe Lincoln because black people, I guess.
Equity and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words.
then. Would you give me
That is literally the words.
a definition of that? Give me a definition of
Sir,
that.
I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So, I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly, very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as
She
black.
fucking turned
So,
black.
I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black
I
woman.
She
respect
fucking
either
turned
one.
black,
I respect
dude.
either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black.
Was it all of a
Just to be clear,
sudden,
sir,
dude?
I
believe that she
think
is a-
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
So I've seen...
I think I suffer from whiteness.
Project 2025 is looking more like Project 2029. Oof. So I've seen some people react to this, and this is one of my favorite ones.
Bakari, I'm half Colombian, but for the purposes of this panel, I guess I will be black. How do you think Vice President Harris handled her response to Trump?
No, I think that this is an amazing moment in American TV history because we can all tell the audience at that time we turned black. For me, it was about 99, 2000 when I first heard Juvenile's Back That Ass Up and I had a rhythmic cadence to my dance. At that moment, I knew I was black. But look, I just think Kamala did what she was supposed to do.
Anyway, Juvenile retweeted this, so that's it's great.
The direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I really
Republicans
don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well,
interview.
you told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost
She's a Republican, right? The one all the way to the right?
on us how divided we are as a country.
Is this why they have? Do they have a left, middle, right situation thing happening here? They say DEI like they want to say the N-word. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. Harris Faulkner, Fox correspondent.
And as you were coming today, we really got to
I don't watch Fox.
see that we are divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to
Trying to give him a
stop
layup.
people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room,
Just
I know,
fucking
and I have
fear-mongering
great respect for,
the border.
a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions
Fucking laughing at this guy.
and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr.
they're
President,
they're
can I-
I don't know if the crowd like that either. What, man? Black. He's getting panned for this one too. Like, we're only 7 minutes into this fucking shit show, and everything he says is just the dumbest thing. It's crazy how much we have to tolerate as an American populace due to the right wing's inability to form fucking sentences and have like frontal lobes that are fully developed. It's actually just mouth breathers versus the rest of us. But for some reason, for a long time, the Democrats have been like, well, I know that the mouth breathers have been clubbing people to death to get into office, but, you know, we're not going to play dirty, and so we're going to let them club people to death to get into office, and we're just going to play by the rules and see how it goes, even though they're cheating. And, like, it's they just... I hope we fucking get a backbone. If you just make this a straight up, regular, no electoral college, popular vote, ranked choice voting, if you make all things equal, I promise you, the right wing will stop winning. They'll just stop altogether. So, like, the Dems should just run on that and get it done, and it would be over. But they're weak babies.
taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people.
An invasion.
I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that, and Kamala is allowing it to happen.
Can we talk about why, though? Why that might be? Because, like, you know, there's a situation where you have a marginalized group of people, the black population in the United States, who have been systemically marginalized since, like, fucking forever, since they were forced to exist here. And now you have a housing situation where those communities are going to be the only ones where, like, someone moving in can afford, because that's typically where the rent is going to be lowest, so the community cost is going to be low, like cost of living. And so then you're going to have, like, these labor jobs and shit. And, like, it's all just part of the fucking hierarchy that you're building in when you elect this fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's part of the billionaire class's idea of how labor should work. You need someone to fucking trample on so that he can be a king, you know? It's fucking dog shit. To scapegoat them and then to also exploit them at the same time is a particular piece of evil that the right likes to do.
The border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs, and frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions
Your son
of people
is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
Sorry, Trump Sr.
that are pouring into our country.
He's
and
too
one
woke?
thing, as we discussed, Many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from
I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that this is the case, actually.
jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President.
Our crime rate is going down, for the record. We can have permeable borders. We can allow people to move in and out of the country. It's fine if you have some sort of screening process and vet people that come through. It's fine if people seeking citizenship have to meet some kind of like behavior standard. I think it's okay to have something as long as it's achievable and not fucking railroading people. A lot of the problem at the border has to do with its lack of permeability. Right? Like, you have congestion in this problem here and a black market for it because it's more, like, achievable for them to get here through black market means than it is for them to go through legal channels in America. And they think it's worth the risk. You know what I mean? Like, so if you just think about what it takes for a human being to be like, look, I might have to try to break into America while they're trying to murder people at the border. You know, that's pretty ballsy stuff, man. That's serious business. They really mean it when they want to come over here. And it's not like, and they're doing it for like survival with their kids and shit, and they're just trying to live a life. I have no, like, I cannot imagine seeing someone across a river and them trying to get on the other side and them struggling and not trying to help them. Like, why would I give a shit if they were on the other side of that river? I don't care. I don't know why you do. It's fucking weird. Your tie is too long.
President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
Sure.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts.
She's like, I'm one of the good ones. I'm one of the good ones. I'm one of the good ones. Please, Donald. I'm one of the good ones, Donald. It's pathetic.
This is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise.
Obama, thanks for following. Maybe. We'll see. Come on, you.
And people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single
corporations.
Moms, single black.
Oh, you mean the burden. The problem is corporations price gouging, by the way. It's just a fact. It's an absolute fact. Actually, check this out. Look at this. Chat. This isn't a joke. What year do you think these prices are from for Chipotle? 2019. Here's what they are now. It's just double. They've doubled. They price gouged during COVID, and they never brought it back down. It's fucked. Yeah. I don't go to Chipotle anyway, but they're not the only place doing it, too. It's like so many.
Moms, when you look.
So it's the corporations. It's not fucking, you know, the dollar value or what the fuck ever. It's not inflation. It's corporate greed. It always has been. Surprise. Fucking commies. Commies out here being right.
Statistically, how do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, you know, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation
he's just an old guy.
Is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's...
Corporations have reported record profits since COVID hit. They're gouging prices.
58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation.
Because of inflation. Because the cost of housing is due to inflation? Nope. That's due to real estate companies hoarding and, in concert with one another, raising prices in communities to keep certain people out from them, and so that they can just sit on the properties and accrue, fucking equity. They don't give a fuck. You think they care? If there's homeless people, they got billions, man. They don't give a fuck. It should be illegal to have any kind of shelter if you're a corporation. They should not be able to own them unless they can rent them, essentially.
Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community probably as much or more than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls, and then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history.
Oh, my God.
And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, let's keep going, and maybe something happens the other way.
He's fucking triggered, dude.
They said, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight. A prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing where you say, let's bring in another fighter. So
it's not. It's like an election. She's the vice president. She's the only person they could have picked.
Our whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders.
He's just trying to talk about Kamala, I guess, or Joe Biden. Maybe both. He's just trying to bitch right now.
Horrible energy policies.
He's just upset.
They want to get rid of,
he's losing in the polls, by the way.
Gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of
They want to get rid of oil.
Heating.
Mr. President.
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country.
He's just
but
rambling.
Inflation is the thing that's hurting
just saying whatever the fuck,
the
man.
black worker, the black population, and every other
worker.
population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58. Whatever it may be, they don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this country and the
Nope, it's corporate greed still.
people in our country. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
President, can I ask you another question?
Yes.
Please do. Does anyone remember the question? The question was about the economy and how he would fix it. And then he said inflation is the problem, so he would stop it. He would stop inflation. It's not the problem, by the way. Corporations are unethical. Capitalism is unethical. And then the corporations just raised all the prices on everything, and nobody was like stopping them. And they're like, well, I guess that's the prices of stuff now. And so there it is.
It's also impacting black Americans.
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You said police would get immunity.
Is he gonna
from
fuck this up?
prosecution if you win.
Yeah.
Why should
Yes.
someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But again, why would...
They're going to be charging the officer. I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are in much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves.
What?
By the way, in Chicago, as an example...
What do you mean? That's the exact fucking case that was... This is the exact problem with the police. They're disgusting armed gang of the American government, And they fucking kill people, man. This guy might not get it, but this is like, how is this different from like fucking George Floyd or anything? How is it different? Or that guy that got shot in his fucking car in Minnesota, I think. Oh man, I can't remember all their names now because there's so fucking many. He was a registered gun owner and admitted to having a gun in the car, but said he didn't have it on him. And then he just got shot while he's sitting in the car with his fucking kid in the car. It's fucking crazy.
A few
Philando Castile, that's it, yeah.
weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that.
Brings up
Nobody
Chicago
wants that.
for no
We
reason.
need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this
So that's a
particular
gun
case,
control
I
issue.
saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So, can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
Well, right now,
distinctions?
for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments.
Yeah, that's stupid.
But I'm saying if I felt or
They shouldn't be protected by police. No. Police officers should not be protected for their actions. They should be scrutinized for their actions, and we should expect the best. And you shouldn't want to be a police officer unless you want to help people. And that's what our fucking standard should be. They should be there to protect and serve, not to dominate and fucking harm, I guess.
if a group of
And
people
qualified immunity, 100%.
feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake,
Dude,
I would want to help that person.
this wasn't
What
an
would
innocent
those
mistake,
exceptions
bro.
be? What was
He
the-
shot
what
her
would
in the
determine
fucking
a
face.
innocent
After
mistake?
somebody, and it's a very close call, and it's very dangerous. And you know, they have the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision, and sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in
She looks annoyed.
prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
True.
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case.
That was the biggest case.
Most difficult case, and I just won it.
In
Now, Biden
Florida? What case?
has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't because he wasn't president at the time, and he had 50 years worth of documents, and they ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him.
Yeah, man, this is just not true. There's nothing about this. The one Judge Cannon threw out? Oh, yeah, this just got thrown out, man.
I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC
I don't have the
doing
PolitiFact open
any
still.
publicity on it, George.
We cover you
George
extensively, sir. I'd
Slappadopoulos.
love to move over on to
I
different
didn't
topics
notice you
now.
do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where
Sir,
I have
if you
a
don't mind, I'd
hostile
love
judge.
to. We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different
No,
topics.
excuse
if
you.
we
You're the
can.
one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir.
You're the one that held me up for 35 minutes. The panel wasn't allowed to shout down disinformation. They weren't allowed. Oh, that was part of his. That was part of his deal, right?
I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few
Dude, he's doing so poorly.
things that he has said in the past.
He's getting destroyed
he said
for
the Democrats
this.
running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate, and do you agree with him?
No, I know this. he is very family-oriented.
Good question.
And he thinks family is a great thing.
Family-oriented.
That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here. He also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your campaign
I think
position?
I'm speaking for him, too.
I think I'm speaking for him, too.
He strongly believes in family, but I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family.
Wow.
And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay?
Okay.
He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him, actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family-oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just one last point, and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I've ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now you have illegal aliens coming into our country, many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time.
She's the only one shouting down.
Worked hard. That in many cases, and you'll see this happening.
Yeah.
If I'm
glad she said that.
See it happen. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs to people that have come into this country illegally.
They're still on the losing your job shit. They're still on it. Ugh, my whole life it's been like this. They're stealing your jobs. Well, I don't think jobs should be necessary, man. So...
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Is she even on his side? Why did you choose J.D. Vance? That's funny.
Why did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing, too. I know everybody out there can, but it's hard to hear.
I'll tell you why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room. But you have many of them.
Anyway, the UAW and all the other major unions endorsed Kamala Harris. If you care who's for the workers. Sean Fain endorsed Kamala Harris himself. I want Taco Bell so bad. Now I want Taco Bell so bad. Stop talking about Taco Bell, chat.
Those people, they were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard, and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit.
He's talking about the movie. Dude, did he pick J.D. Vance because he had a movie on Netflix? Did he actually pick J.D. Vance because of that? It's 100% true, isn't it?
A smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State. So
without nepotism? What a strong boy.
I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and the father and everything else.
The mother and the father.
He Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the law journal. I mean, it's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction for 4 years, got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in business, actually. Did public offerings and other things. And I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book.
It's the book and the movie, dude. It's definitely the book and the movie for him. That's so fucking stupid. Of course. We should have known. It's not even good. Hillbilly Elegy sucks.
And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into...
Vance was a top Heritage Foundation pick, but Trump can't say that was the reason. Yeah. Definitely. But, well, I mean, that would be hyperbole to say something like that. Okay.
Yale and become one of the best students in Yale that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding.
He likes the
They
word
get married,
Yale.
They have a beautiful family. But he had he made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a
Wow, cool, man. Yeah, he fucked a couch, though, for sure.
United States Senator. And so, Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot.
Oh, no.
We'd been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And 2 days after that...
I cannot understand. Your microphone
I know,
is so
it is really hard for me to...
Dude, I love that he derailed her trying to get him into, like, some kind of, like, beautiful, like, you got shot moment. And everyone's just like, who gives a fuck?
I can understand you perfectly.
Push
Whoa.
us closer.
I can understand you.
I'm happy to hear that, sir.
But I can't
Really happy to hear
understand,
that.
Harris.
I have a few more questions.
Because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand
So,
Are you asking a question?
what you're saying.
so what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke...
He can't open the
you
bottle.
said some words that were prophetic. Because I asked you who you
Did he just
wanted
try to tighten that?
So
Did he try to tighten this bottle?
what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke...
Yes. Oh, what? Am I nuts?
Are you asking a question?
What you're saying.
So what
It's
I
her
wanted to say
water?
was the last
It is her water. What the fuck?
time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic.
That is her water.
Because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would bring. You choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris, and that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at J.D. Vance, is he ready on day one?
This kind of pivots into you're old as fuck, Donald.
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
He can't
I've
hear.
always had great respect for him. And for the other candidates, too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact.
Wow.
You have 2 or 3 days where
Hilarious endorsement of his fucking candidate.
there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons than what we're talking about. Not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But
Wow.
historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president.
I disagree. Sarah Palin hurt McCain. I think wasn't it Tim Kaine with fucking Hillary Clinton? Who the fuck was her VP pick? Was it Tim Kaine? I don't remember.
President who's outstanding in every way, and I think JD is. I think that all of them would have been, but you're not voting that way.
No, man. If you get an exciting VP pick, that's good shit.
You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
J.D. Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, well, I mean, my point
but at
is
least
here.
it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, Do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the death. They're allowing the death of a baby after the baby is born, based on the governor of Virginia.
Yeah, that's not true.
Governor of Virginia, they're allowing the death of the baby after it's born. They're allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well, Democrats have denied.
I think they're right. And I think the Republican Party is actually much less right. I think
both of them are like, we've denied that's a thing.
Made them much less right, perhaps, but the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservative, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't
Nobody wanted that
Wade
shit
in the federal government. They wanted it every.
That's not true. I think it's something. It's close to 70% of people did not want Roe v. Wade overturned. Like, this is patently untrue. I think he's been told this by Heritage Foundation handlers, and he actually believes it because they try to feed him, information that tells him he's good and stuff.
Everybody.
But the majority of Americans oppose Roe v. Wade being overturned.
They don't know about this. Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now it's an amazing thing. Out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting.
What a waste of fucking human
Ohio
flesh.
Is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting. And it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on.
I disagree.
And they're voting.
We're going to get Kamala Harris into this fucking White House and enshrine abortion rights. What do you say? How about that? How about we do that fucking instead, huh?
And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting. And it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Most people believe in the 3 exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions.
I don't. It's not an exception. I think you can get an abortion if you don't want to be pregnant. Okay? If you don't want to be pregnant, you do not have to be anymore. Okay? Done. Anyway, hey, check this out. That's a dog right there. He's flipped around now. What a boy.
But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that.
I disagree with that. You can definitely get an abortion that late in the game. Most people aren't carrying that late in the game and then just getting a fucking willy-nilly abortion, okay?
And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of...
And frankly, at like 8 months or whatever, like, it's not usually viable to abort because they're going to survive, and then they'll just be born or whatever. But, you usually want to carry to term if you can help it.
Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside, and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do we do?
That's not
we
true.
Execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quickly to another question about, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally.
Here's the question.
He shot. But most people.
Listen.
I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world history, the greatest leaders, some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would make,
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I
think
came
I'd
onto
know.
a stage like this and I got treated so
It's
rudely
now,
as this
dude.
woman
Oh my
treated me,
goodness.
stage like this, and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated
Oh my
me.
goodness.
And I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a
Dude, the crowd is getting after him.
nasty. That wasn't a question. She
Sir,
didn't
you
ask
can
me a
answer the
question.
question.
She gave a statement.
He's yelling at the crowd right now.
That wasn't a question.
I repeated
You can
your
answer the
statement, sir,
question.
actually.
You said you would. You would
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If
to
I
step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's
Can you take it on live stream or something, though? Can we watch this guy take a Mensa IQ test and watch him just fucking lose? That'd be hilarious. He'd get like a 50. I guarantee he'd get like a 50.
a great idea. And I took two of them and I aced them.
Well, can
got
I
them.
just-
I took two of them. But let me ask.
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can
Tell her off, Trump. Is that how you feel about your life? Like, is that your thing, man? Are you a Trump guy?
I think I suffer from whiteness.
So is it safe to say that Trump did not secure the black vote? It is safe to say that Trump is not securing the black vote. That is true.
do it. I think we should know.
Hell yes. All right, Fred, why do you like Donald Trump?
I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have.
It's not inflation, okay? What you are seeing is corporate greed. COVID hit, corporations rose prices, and they reported record profits. If you can't see that, you're blind. And obviously, Donald can because he benefits from this, right? He directly benefits from this. Someone like Fred does not benefit from this, right? Fred in chat is not a billionaire. Fred in chat is a working class guy and gets fucked by corporations. But he likes it for some reason. So, Fred, could you tell me what you like about getting fucked by corporations? What's the best part about it, in your opinion?
The millions of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to our country, and her too, what they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Mr. President,
Mike Pence exists.
Interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test
Mr. President,
I would love to
and
do
make
it.
it public?
Well, I've already taken two of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr.
I
President,
suggested-
how do you intend to?
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her, too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Mr. President.
Her what?
Are you saying she wouldn't pass? Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
to be clear, you don't think
I'm
Harris?
just
How do you
giving the
intend,
facts.
and
She didn't
look,
pass her bar exam. And
She didn't pass her bar exam? Fuck off, you liberal jack off. I'm not a liberal, Fred. Hello. Hi, Fred. Hold on. I think we need to take just a beat one sec. Hi, Fred. Are you okay? I asked you what you like about Donald Trump and why you like to be fucked by corporations. I think it's a reasonable question. You can't answer me what you like about him and what you like about being fucked by corporations? What's your favorite part of being gaped by a corporation? Instead of joining a union and like collectively bargaining for your rights and like trying to get the most money for your labor and fighting for a shorter work week with the same amount of pay, for instance, because we don't need everybody to toil all the time. Eat me, you liberal. I'm not a liberal. We're not liberals. We're worse than that. We're way worse than liberals. We're way scarier than liberals, Freddie. Thanks, by the way, Dr. Gamble, giving Fredo a sub here so he doesn't have to watch any ads while he's here. Freddie, can you answer the question though, Mo? Are you okay? What do you like about Donald Trump? I'm a leftist, by the way. I'm way scarier than a liberal. We're gonna get you. Look at my dog, dude. Don't you like dogs? You coming a little hot here, man. I think you're in your feelings right now. Freddie, you gotta relax, man. You came here. We're all hanging out. You're the one. Hey, you getting touchy because you chose to come here is your fucking personal problem, brother. I think you got a Harris Ent and bullying report. What? Harris Ent and bullying? You're gonna report me for bullying you? Do you feel bullied? Fred, why do you feel bullied? Why do you like Donald Trump? Have you never been asked before? Have you never been asked why you like Donald? Have you never been had to like put it to words? I thought we were the fucking like snowflake emotional guy. Oh, you feel bullied? Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Who's my hero? My hero's on the tube? What? Are you 55 years old and divorced? Fred, be honest with me. Is it Fred 0130 because your name is Fred and you couldn't figure out how to make a username on twitch.com or .tv rather, and you watch, I don't know, some old guys on here or something? Like, how did you get here? How did this happen to you? Shouldn't you be on Facebook? How did you find your way over here, man? I would love to hear you out. Anyway, do you need help, Fred? Would you like any assistance in trying to think about your political opinions? I would love to understand why you like Donald Trump. Anyway, I'm going to watch him flounder against these 3 black women, and then I'm going to watch him in November lose to a black woman, and it's going to fucking rule, and I hope you show up in my chat, Fred. I hope you have the balls to show up in chat. It's going to be a good time. The election special is going to be good. I'm going to wear a coconut.
She didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to ever pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it.
She did pass it.
There's a man over here. I think he must work.
Mr. President, I would love to ask you about January 6th. You've called yourself the candidate of law and order. Yeah. When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider...
He's still trying to drink her water.
...pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely.
He's just going to do it.
You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones. At least one officer lost an eye. One had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs. Another had a stroke. Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Well, let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol. A horrible attack on the Capitol.
We did?
We saw the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. It'll never, you'll see it in 100 years from now.
You see the red paint on the thing? That they sprayed off the bell? The paint they sprayed? Are you talking about the bell? What are you talking about? The limestone? He's a limestone expert? I'm guaranteeing you that was cleaned immediately.
Viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January.
The replica bell? Yeah.
6th. What's going to happen to those people?
Same dudes that would write a Sharpie on a bomb and send it to Palestine, right?
What's going to happen to the people in Portland?
Think of the bell.
So my question is on those.
What's going to happen to
my
the people
question is
that
on
tried
those
to
rioters who assaulted officers.
You have to
would you pardon
what's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You
if
would
they're
pardon
innocent,
those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just under. Well, they were convicted by
the fucking crowd. Don't let me steal that.
The Supreme Court just.
You would pardon those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just under. Well, they were convicted by a very tough system. They were. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis? How come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle? How come nothing happened to them?
Who?
But sir, we're talking about people that were seen beating officers with flagpoles, dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that video, sir?
Oh, really? Well,
you would pardon those. You would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle.
Nobody died except for the lady that was shot in the face. Nobody died. Several police officers died, right? I'm anti-cop, so I don't give a fuck.
Nobody died, but people died in Minneapolis. You know people died in Minneapolis. And nothing happens, and nobody ever talks, and nothing happens to those people. But you went after
Dude,
these
she's so fucking done.
With a vengeance. And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in.
Uh-huh.
What about that? Look,
No one was
Nothing is perfect in life, but you have people from Minneapolis. You have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C. They were having fistfights and fighting with the police. They were spraying and destroying. They were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago.
Who cares?
Nothing happened to them.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. They're public. I don't care. You could protest statues, and yeah, you could protest that. I don't care. They're so fucking precious about shit. It's like such an aesthetic fucking like LARP, man. Oh, think of the fucking paint on the statue. I don't care.
And you can't have two systems of justice.
Fred, you're back. Hey, look, Biden is awake. Must have gave him drugs. That's Donald Trump. That's Donald Trump. I'm also not a fan of Joe Biden. He is a liberal. I'm not a liberal. Fred, are you lost? Okay, Fred, do you have any family members? This is a wellness check. Are you wandering the streets right now in a dementia haze, Fred? Who is your do you have like a, I don't know, one of your siblings with like a successful life? Did they have a family? Do you have like a niece or a nephew that you could get a hold of, or maybe a friend from like the bar or something where you drunkenly stumbled out of to call and like get yourself like picked up and taken home? Let me know.
That's why
Fred is Dave? No way. That'd be hilarious.
They went after me as a political opponent because they felt they could.
Fred, what's your opinion on guys named Dave? Do you think that guy is a virgin or not?
Win without doing that. And we're going to win our cases and we're going to be vindicated. But I have to spend a lot of time on that and money.
You guys are really trying. Good luck. I don't need good luck. Kamala Harris is going to smash this guy. I think like, was it 270 to win? More than that. Almost 300. I don't know. Fred is the juice man. No way.
That's what they want. After the
Hey, Fred, do you want to come talk about why you like Donald Trump in my Discord? Do you even know what Discord is, old guy? You want to come talk about why Donald Trump is bad?
Election, they won't care. Although in my case, I think they probably will because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before, and it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
Cool, dude.
What do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border. And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming. We want people to come in, Harris.
Close the border?
Be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. I want people to come into our country. But they have.
My question is, do you think we can get 300? 300 what?
Have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring.
Drill, baby, drill. Weird stuff.
Energy way down.
Is Obama going to run the country for Kamala too? Obama? You think Barack Obama runs the country secretly? Fred, do you think Barack Obama has been secretly running the country since he left office? Is that real? Please say yes.
Interest rates are down. I bring inflation way down so people can buy bacon again, so people can buy a ham sandwich again, so that people can go to a restaurant and afford it. Because right now people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%, right? She's agreeing to me. Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much.
Mr. President, I think we are.
Oh, got agreed with in the audience.
But it's true. Your grocery bills are up. And then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. You know, Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine.
Elon Musk endorsed me. Only the dumbest motherfuckers are endorsing Donald Trump. And, like, everyone that's serious and, like, you know, educated, literally, like, every major union. Every single one of them. Science organizations. Fucking, you know, I mean, whole committees dedicated to, and organizations in 501c3 nonprofits, like, candidates that you like, politicians that don't suck. All the people that you like are supporting Kamala Harris. And Donald Trump has, like, Kid Rock, you know?
Good guy, he's a smart guy. But I'm against everybody having an electric car, okay? I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline-propelled car. But, you know, we have more liquid gold, gasoline, oil, under our feet than any other country. More than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs, and I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in...
Remember, they're taking your jobs. They're taking your jobs. All right. So, do you think that this is a good example of the corruption of capitalists and how they will hire illegal people, I guess, to run their businesses because the labor is cheaper? Like, do you so you understand and acknowledge that capitalism means that a capitalist is going to make the cheapest decision irrespective of the morality, right? In a lot of cases. So it's like, how can you support a system that is so easily corrupted in general if you're just like a working class person? Donald Trump obviously benefits from it, so he loves that shit. But like, as a working class person, how do you fucking deal with it? Someone like Fred, for instance, would be lovely to understand how you advocate for a system that fucks you, you know?
Are taking your job.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So leave it. That is the last word. Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Calling him Mr. Trump is a fucking funny move.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much. Great
Thank
honor.
you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
NABJ will email about details regarding the conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris in September. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
What does this beat, though? So this didn't go well for him. People are panning him, and he deserves it because he's a dumbass.
My corn is so moist that it's actually dripping.
It's actually dripping?
What the hell is that?
Simpsons memes is what we have now.
If I was gay or something.
His ear sure looked pristine. I know, right? Isn't that hilarious? His fucking ear is fine after it got shot with a bullet. Uh-huh. Okay, so he got cut on the ear from like some fucking fiberglass or some shit. Cool. Great. Did Fred run away? Of course Fred ran away. Fred is a little bitch. Fred, your thoughts? Well, anyway, I gotta say, I'm not impressed with the candidate known as Donald Trump. He's a mouth-breathing loser, and anyone who votes for him is also that. Like, literally troglodyte brain. I actually do not understand how you can vote for Donald Trump. And I think it is your moral prerogative, your obligation as a human being. If you are at all convicted about your political beliefs, you need to vote against Donald Trump and vote for Kamala Harris, because I would much rather fight over our ideals against a liberal who can be moved left or replaced with a more further left-leaning person than fight fucking dumb, rock-bottom fascists. I mean, literally the least intelligent motherfuckers on planet Earth. Just the worst guys. Doofuses that do not deserve to have such violent, control over you and your bodies and stuff. Like, it's just fucking crazy. Absolutely shit show of American politics. A total waste of space. If liberals win, we can fight another day. If fascists win, it's game over. Well, it's not really totally game over. It's just like fucking harder. It's way fucking harder. It's never really game over. We're cockroaches. Okay? We are cockroaches, us leftists. We will fucking find a way. Because no matter what happens, someone will see the hierarchy and realize that it's fucked. Okay? Someone will see it. No matter what happens. They could kill literally every leftist. And no matter what happens, whatever comes from the fucking rubble of that, people will realize that that's a fucked up system and leftism will begin again. It's not, they're just wrong. So, I mean, but they're not going to be able to do that. So, we're going to be way stronger than that. We don't even have to do that. We're just going to win with fucking elections. And we don't, there ain't no fucking revolution happening anytime soon, obviously. So, let's just fucking come along with me to the polls. We'll get this done. Argue with fucking liberals about reasonable shit from now on, huh? I would love if the furthest right we got is, Hillary Rodham Clinton, you know, war hawk fucking capitalists. Let's go. That's who I want to fight against. I don't want to, like, why do we have to deal with these fucking Nazis? And they're dumb Nazis. Ugh.